The total rewards approach is trying to take the available budget. After all, the customers pay the wages, according to Henry Ford, inventor of the assembly line and a founder of Ford Motor Company. Henry Ford said, the customers pay the wages. The employer just handles the money. From the revenues of our companies, we can pay a workforce. We don't have unlimited money. Even a government or a government-linked company does not have unlimited money. You can only tax so much. So it's really important for us in HR to get value for money. You'll probably hear me say that 10 times this week. Value for money. We're so used to saying pay for performance, like that's the ultimate goal of everything we do. Well, it's good, but it's not good enough. There are other types of value that we need to pay for that doesn't get captured in the performance review. If a certain talent is scarce in the market, is that reflected in the performance rating? No. Do we have to pay more if the talent is scarce in the market? We probably should. So there are other aspects of value that the performance rating just does not measure. So we need to look at all types of value and then use all kinds of rewards. We have comp, pension, paid time off, wellness, medical, incentives, commissions. You know, it's like a box of cereal. You can only put so much in. So what's the right recipe? What's the right mix? Every year, my financial advisor sends a gift basket like this to my wife and me. And I've trained my wife to leave the chocolate alone. That's mine. And then she likes the macadamias and pistachios. Well, my financial advisor doesn't really know that, but he knows that not everybody likes the same thing. So he gets us a variety of stuff and everybody's happy. So the total rewards is a little bit like that because not everybody values exactly the same thing. Okay, some people at higher levels are obsessed with their job title. People at lower levels don't even care if they have a job title. They just are living from paycheck to paycheck. They just want more money and they'll make a move for $50. So we need to understand the different needs and preferences that people have and how to develop a package that attracts and retains and supports motivation. Whoops. So by the end of this section, we should understand and apply the total rewards approach in all of our work in Comp and Ben. We should be able to categorize rewards by the various needs that they address. We should be able to explain the buildup of compensation from salary, and then we add allowances, and we call that total fixed compensation, and so on. We should understand the key motivation theories. Why are some workers just not excited about the long service award? Why are some workers obsessed with titles, as I mentioned? Why do some people leave a job even though the money is good? So we're going to understand some of those applicable, relevant psychological theories and motivation theories. I think you'll find that really interesting. And then finally, I'm going to share the ATRI competency framework for total rewards. ATRI is ASEAN Total Rewards Institute. And so we've got a validated functional competency framework for total rewards work, which will illustrate advanced versus basic competencies that we need. So you can sort of measure yourself and identify your learning needs and so on. So we start with a definition of total rewards. And Tricia, since you're there, your video's on, I'm just going to pick on you. Sorry about that. Could you just unmute for a second and read, if you don't mind, this definition of total rewards?
Everything a person receives or experiences from an employer, sorry.
Okay, very good. It's everything. Okay, if I like my pay, I like my benefits, but I hate my boss, I might leave the company. That's why we call it total rewards. It's the whole thing. Let me ask you, would you marry somebody just based on their income? Now think hard and be honest. I don't think so. Okay. We don't take a job just based on the salary. It's the whole picture. It's not even just the tangibles, it's the intangibles. So here we have tangibles and intangibles. Tangibles would include comp and ben. All right, so that's what we manage. That's in our job title. This is the cash that we pay people for the job they do and how well they do it. And then the benefits, which protects our standard of living. Compensation, especially salary, would determine our standard of living. And then benefits would protect that standard of living, because without benefits like healthcare, retirement, and time off, without those, we would have to set aside a rainy day fund, wouldn't we? A pretty big one. So with benefits, therefore, we feel free to spend our paycheck on our standard of living. Okay. So benefits determines how much of your paycheck you feel free to spend. The more complete your benefits are, providing a safety net in terms of health. What if you should get sick and you can't work? Retirement, what if you just don't want to work anymore? How do you get income? And time off, what if you're just worn out and you need a break? If you had to take that unpaid, well, how are you going to pay the bills? But because we have benefits for healthcare, retirement, and time off, we feel free to spend most of our paycheck every month instead of a big rainy day fund. So benefits protects your income and protects your standard of living. But the intangible rewards really matter also. Work life was part of the total rewards model long before the pandemic came along and proved that almost any white collar job could be done from home. Work life is really helping people to be successful away from work as well as at work. It's not only flexible work arrangements, but it's things like letting people take time to volunteer, take time to take a class, accommodations for dependent children or the elderly dependents, and other things. During the pandemic, everyone had to work from home if it was possible. And again, we learned that many jobs can be done remotely. After the pandemic, most companies have swung back to a hybrid of office versus home, maybe 2 days here, 3 days there, something like that. But this is definitely an important issue for people who, maybe they make enough money, their benefits are good. So what are they looking for? Hey, I'm going to look for work life. And then recognition is also very important, and it's mostly intangible. These can be a little bit tangible. You can provide a work at home allowance so people can buy a decent monitor and a good chair, and Wi-Fi. Recognition would include long service awards that may cost some money, but mostly recognition is the words thank you. Mostly recognition can be town hall recognition, department meeting recognition, birthdays, and those types of things. Done well, they can really build engagement and identity with the company. Neglected, they can drive good people away very fast. So recognition is very important. Finally, development opportunity is recognized as one of the areas of total rewards, because even though comp and benefits doesn't manage learning and development opportunity, the level of opportunity to grow that an employer provides has a strong impact on its ability to retain talent. Not so much to attract talent, because who really knows what learning opportunity I have before I start. The recruiter always describes the company in the rosiest terms, but only after I join the company do I really know, do they support, my learning and development. So as people discover, hopefully, that the company supports their continuous education, learning, development, and growth, then that can really strongly help to retain that talent.